Rate yourself 1 through 10.
11.
Yeah, just lots of money, really. Yeah.
Like a yacht and stuff.
Yeah.
Welcome to my party.
10. Well, yeah, 10. Probably when they don't work out. Like an 8. 9, maybe? A 10.
10.
Really rich.
I would say a 10 too.
That fucking 10.
10?
Can buy me fancy things. Take me on trips. Pay my rent.
I don't think I'll ever forget one of my very favorite moments in college as a psychology student. It happened to be actually in my literal Psych 101 course. Maybe about halfway through the semester, there was a very brief section, maybe only half a page, and the title of that section within the larger chapter was, "Can we all really be better than average?" And that's what I want to talk about today. Psychologically, the better than average effect is a robust self-enhancement bias, which basically informs us that most people judge themselves as above the midpoint of their peer groups, whatever it may be. The classic demonstration of this is Svensson's 1981 study about driving, in which a vast majority of US and Swedish students rated themselves safer and more skillful than the average driver. In another study 4 years later, a researcher by the name of Alike, I think is how you say that, Alike provided evidence for the same pattern for intelligence, morality, leadership, and later research even tied the phenomenon to how we compare ourselves to others. We all know our own good intentions and best moments intimately, but we see others only through outcomes, so the internal scorecard is stacked in our favors. So there are two cognitive mechanisms that keep this illusion alive. The first is ambiguity. Traits like attractiveness, kindness, and maturity, all of those have many different dimensions. So people select the definition that flatters them, right? It's self-serving and constructual. See, average, again, is abstract. We estimate it from a local hand-picked set, whether it be friends, algorithms, maybe neighborhoods, or the dating pool, which we'll get to in a moment, which are all of them very often skewed by similarity and curation. Naturally, online environments amplify this. Whether it's likes, filters, or selective attention, they all function as intermittent rewards that teach people to overweight flattering feedback and underweight quiet rejection. So over time, perceived mate value can drift upward without a matching signal from the broader market. The second mechanic that keeps this better than average illusion alive is egocentric sampling. Specifically, that memory retrieves our own highlights more readily than our mistakes, right? So our mental data set, if you will, is biased before we even make comparisons. Many of you are also aware of the work by Dunning and Kruger, which adds a layer of competence to this equation. Weakness in a domain reduces the ability to detect that weakness, thereby inflating self-ratings precisely where we need the most calibration. When this psychology moves into dating, expectations rise faster than opportunities. If a woman believes that she is clearly above average on looks, character, and lifestyle, all at the same time, then her perceived baseline becomes partner who are also equal or better on multiple axes all at once. And because the highest end of the spectrum is scarce and in high demand, the gap between expectation and match rate appears as a supply problem to them. And that's why they will say there are no good men, when in reality it's a simple calibration problem. Her internal benchmark is elevated by her own self-enhancement. So she really believes, seriously, she does. She believes that she belongs with all of the real 9s and 10s. Meanwhile, the dating market doesn't care about her perceptions, and it cannot make any 4 better than average any more than it can make any real 6 a 10. That's because people inevitably pair near their actual composite mate value. Another factor behind women's inflated self-perception is cultural conditioning. As you know, for decades, Western societies have elevated women's subjective value simply for being women. Whether it's advertising, social media, her college classmates, any type of institutional messaging, They all prioritize female empowerment over honest assessment. Even way before adolescence, girls are often told that they're beautiful no matter what, perfect as they are, and they deserve the best. But the story is very different for men who are taught that worth must be earned through performance and provision. And it's that opposition that creates an environment in which women receive constant positive reinforcement, regardless of outcome or accountability. As a result, many women are never exposed to realistic feedback about their actual standing. Again, whether it's attractiveness, relationship skills, maturity, anything else, because the culture treats such critique as misogynistic or toxic. That's why we can't speak with them honestly. So ultimately, the absence of corrective feedback allows the better than average bias to run unchecked, leaving women with a socially inflated sense of their desirability and expectations that the dating market cannot sustain. And this shows up behaviorally in many consistent ways, including that women's preferences concentrate on high status or high attractiveness men, producing a long shot strategy that yields sporadic attention and also low conversion to commitment. Again, this is why women can't find any good men. It's because they think that they're better than average, and therefore they deserve better than average. However, their rejection from those top-level men is often attributed to flaws in the man or the culture, rather than to a mismatch in bargaining position, if you would, which maintains her self-image while at the same time prolonging her search. Interactions with suitors within her means then feels flat because her internal comparison is skewed upward. And that's why we hear so often that average men are interpreted as below her level instead of, quite literally, statistically normal for her. And keep in mind that this is not only about looks. Self-ratings on kindness, emotional intelligence, ambition, or even I bring peace are all equally susceptible to flattering definitions and selective evidence. If a woman defines emotionally mature as I don't start fights, but she ignores stonewalling or guilt trips, she will expect a partner who matches an inflated composite, handsome, successful, attentive, and unshakable, while screening out other men who are closer to her actual composite value. The practical takeaway is not to attack women's confidence or unrealistic expectations. I think men have been going about that incorrectly for quite some time. Instead, simply ignore those vague self-labels, whatever she tells you about herself, and observe externally testable indicators, such as how often high-value men invest in her consistently, or how frequently her dates convert into second or third meetings. How long can she hold on to a relationship, or will a relationship hold on to her? So treat attention just as a noisy signal and commitment as the clear one. Because when self-assessment and market feedback align for self-aware women, expectations stop pointing exclusively at the top tier and start targeting realistic, satisfying matches.
Wake up in a bar, I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir.